Welcome back to day 22. Today's intention is to strive for progress. And I think it's particularly important if you have that kind of personality, which I do, where you're constantly trying to perfect and trying to give 110% to everything, and suddenly you realize you're not giving enough anywhere. And that's where we all get into this sort of continuous, repetitious, vicious cycle of feeling badly about ourselves, even though we're really trying our best. So I think, in this practice, sort of the focus is to recognize your progress. Even in your yoga practice, if you've been following along with these videos and you're on day 22, you probably notice the progression. You probably feel stronger. You probably feel that as we move through some of these poses, you're better at them. You feel more comfortable. So that's what we have to focus on, is the progression, and not ultimately some end goal of being able to flip around and do crazy things. Same with life. We have to look at everything as a progression, and that we are doing our best. And really, again, it goes back to shifting that perspective, and all of these intentions kind of merge together to ultimately, recognize that you really are trying to be your best self. And what we ultimately want to achieve is not perfection, but progression. So with that, I'll see you on the mat. Welcome back for day 22. So today's intention is to strive for progression. So we'll start in an easy seat. So start by just really doing your little check-in, your little once-over here. So checking in with the posture, the alignment, your breath, where you're holding on to tension today. What stuff are you bringing with you? So see if you can settle in, make all your little adjustments, tune into the spine, have the spine long, shoulders are down and back, neck is long, head is pulling up toward the ceiling, and the hands can rest on your knees or on your abdomen if you want to have that tangible feeling of the inhales and the exhales, and then start to tune in with your breath. Really deepen the inhale, and maybe do your little trick of holding the breath at the top of the inhale and take in just a little bit more, and then let it go really slow. And see if you can start to quiet the thinking mind. So the practice of yoga, it's about so much more than the movement. It's about tuning into your needs, practicing your self-care, checking out of the thinking mind, letting go of some of that stress, even if it's just for a half hour or an hour. You deserve that. And maybe tune into your intention of progress and think, what does that mean to you? In what ways have you noticed progression in your yoga practice, maybe off the mat in some other way? So if you find that your mind starts to wander during the practice at all, then go back to that intention of what that progress means to you. And today we're going to come back to our forearm stands. So we're going to work through some stretches and see if we can start to build back up to going to that posture. Fret not. I like to tell this story because it is the epitome of why I know when people say they aren't flexible or yoga's not for them or whatever it is. I have a close, dear friend who I distinctly remember telling me that she would never be able to do a forearm stand in yoga. And a year later, I remember just gloating about the fact that she had actually worked up to doing that. And I was so proud of her, but it also was a lesson to me in that I don't just accept that answer anymore. If people say, oh, that I can't do it. Yeah, you can. And it's just little bits of progress over time. So that's what this practice is all about. So we're going to start with some arm stretches and keep with the, nice inhales and exhales. And we'll start with just lifting that right elbow up so it's up by your head, and you're going to have that right hand come down between the shoulder blades, grabbing onto that right elbow with the left arm and just guiding it over to the left, just getting a stretch in the underarms and the side of the body a little, keeping your spine straight, keeping the shoulders down and back. So be careful not to lose your alignment here. Sticking with your really deep inhales and exhales. And then exhale, switch sides. So we're just going to go right over to the left now. So bending that left elbow, bringing that left hand down between the shoulder blades, grab onto the elbow with the right arm and just stretch in the opposite direction. So over toward your right this time. It doesn't look like much, but again, you can get a pretty intense stretch here. And now we're going to do something a little different with the arm stretches. I'm going to turn around so that you can see me. Okay. So same position, starting on the right. Again, you're taking that right elbow up toward your head, and that right hand comes down by the shoulder blades, or as far down as you can get it. Now, reach that left hand around and see if you can grab your fingertips. So interlocking your fingertips here. And then you'll feel a stretch here, so breathe into that. And if you're not able to grab, then just again, this practice is about progress, not perfection. So see where you can get. And maybe you're here, maybe your hands aren't quite touching, but every time they're going to get a little closer. All right. Exhale, shake them out. Do some like really good shakes here. And then we're switching sides. So now you're bringing that left elbow up, hand comes down between the shoulder blades, reaching around with the right. See where you can get. And you may notice it's easier to get one side than the other. That's totally normal. And breathe into the areas where you notice the tightness. Keeping your alignment, keeping everything where it should be, and breathing into that stretch, that edge, whatever that is for you. All right, exhale, shake them out again. We're going to meet in tabletop position, hands and knees. So first, take that time to find your foundation. So Do your little check-in with everything, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, having the fingertips spread apart so you have that base for yourself. Spine is straight, neck is long. Inhale, drop the belly, chin comes up, tailbone comes up. Exhale, round it out. Right into some cat-cows here. Keeping with your breath. All right, come back to stillness. Back to your tabletop position. Tuck the toes, push up into downward facing dog. Do a little check-in with your down dog here so you can bend the knees, drop the belly on top of the thighs, straighten the legs. And take a moment here to just feel out your down dog. Get into all of those tight places in the backs of your legs. Don't worry if your feet aren't down by the yoga mat. If your heels are up here, that's okay. Again, we're striving for progress, not perfection. And maybe come up on the toes here and just stretch out the backs of the feet. I say this all the time, but I really like to stretch my toes so it can feel nice. Maybe pedal it out here. So drop the left knee and stretch that right leg. Switch sides. But just take a couple breaths in your down dog rather than moving right through it. Take a couple breaths here. Notice how you feel here. One more really big inhale, one more really big exhale. And then when you're ready, we're kicking that right leg up behind us and bringing it forward and between the hands. And your left knee is coming down, so low lunge. Bring the arms up, but then behind you. Interlace the hands behind your back, and you can have your toes up here, or you can come back onto the top of your foot. Somewhere where you can find your foundation, find your balance. You almost want to imagine that you're squeezing the thighs together. Shoulders are down and back, interlacing the hands. And we're just taking a little stretch here so you can almost lean back here. Like a little mini back bend. And breathe. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Rain them down to frame the foot again, and then you're going to lean back, taking that runner stretch over your right leg now. So extending that right leg out, toes point up toward the ceiling, and bow down over until you feel that nice big stretch underneath your right leg. And then roll it forward, tuck the toes on the left side, push up into your palms, kick that right foot back. So now you're in a plank. Hold your plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, push back up into downward facing dog. Pedal it out. taking it to the other side. Kick that left leg all the way up behind you, and then bring that left foot between the palms, coming down onto the right knee. So you'll find yourself in your low lunge. Arms come up when you're ready, and then bring them down and behind you. Interlace the hands behind the back. Find your balance. Roll the shoulders down and back. You're almost imagining that you're squeezing the hips together here. And that will help you stay balanced. And then you're going to lift the chin and take a little bit of a mini back bend here. And breathe. And then inhale, bring the arms up, rain the fingertips down, and then lean back over that left leg now. So extending that left leg, toes point up toward the ceiling, and you're taking that runner's stretch over on the left. And breathe. And then inhale, roll it forward, tuck the toes on the right side, kick that left foot back, find your plank. And hold your plank here. And think about your progress from your first plank you ever did. And we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, push it up into downward facing dog. Take a breath. And we're coming into our warrior sequence here. So kick that right leg up behind you. Bring that right foot forward between the palms, but you're keeping your left knee up this time. Pivot on the back foot. Find your warrior one. Breathe. Find your warrior two. And then we're reversing. So you're letting that left hand come down. Really lean into that right knee, but reach back toward the left. Then breathe. And then exhale, cartwheel the arms down. Kick that right foot back. Find your plank. And we're here for, you guessed it, 5, 4, 3, 2, push it back up, downward facing dog. And kicking that left leg up behind us this time, left leg comes between the palms, and your right knee stays up, pivot on the back foot. Find your balance, find your foundation, and when you're ready, find your warrior one. And if you don't feel like you're where you need to be when you first get here, then make the adjustments. Take that time to set yourself up to get the best you can get, the most you can get out of each of these poses. Exhale, warrior two. And we're reversing here again. So you're going to drop that right hand back, lean into the left knee, and reach up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, kick that foot back, and come right into your downward facing dog. Come down onto the knees. Take an extended child's pose here. Come all the way back, big toes together. You can make a pillow here or reach your arms out in front of you. We're just taking a couple of breaths, and then we're going to play with setting ourselves up for forearm stand. So let your tailbone really settle down. Maybe if you did make a little stack, a little pillow with your forearms, maybe roll from side to side and just massage the top of your forehead. Catch your breath. One more big inhale and one more big exhale here. And when you're ready, we'll meet again on hands and knees, tabletop position. And I found it's easier to do a little check-in with your alignment of your arms first. So you want your arms to be equal distance. If you are coming down onto your forearms and you line up forearm to forearm, your arms should be equal distance apart. And that's kind of the idea of where you want to set yourself up for this posture. So from here, bring the forearms forward. So kind of keeping the elbows stuck where you just had them. And then tuck the toes and push your backside up like you would in downward facing dog. So play with how that feels. So start to deepen the stretch in the backs of the legs and the calves and the thighs. Maybe pedal it out here. When you're ready, we're going to take it one step further. So start to walk your feet toward your arms. Maybe see how it feels to lift a leg. And then the other. Come back down onto your knees and just take a couple cat-cows here. Just giving yourself a little stretch in between. So you've already felt it out. You've already started to sort of feel what this posture feels like. If you have a wall nearby, I would encourage you to try this near a wall because it can help you feel more confident in kicking your feet up to practice against a wall. And I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to do that same setup here. So you're taking, so again, if you're by a wall, I will switch to that position in a minute, but just showing you that setup again. You're going to check with your alignment. So forearms should be equal distance on your hands and knees. Then you're making that little, like a little basket almost. So interlacing your hands together so that you have a place to rest the top of your head so that it's not pushing against the yoga mat as you practice getting your feet up. So this is the posture that we're going to take, but against a wall. So you're going to turn so that you're facing toward the wall, and you're doing that same little setup. So lining up the forearms, making that little basket for your forehead, and then tuck the toes, push your hips up, walk the feet toward you, and see how it feels now to kick one leg up, then the other. And if you do have a wall there, you've got that support of the wall. So you can get used to feeling how it feels to be in this posture. Or maybe you're feeling super brave and you want to try it not on a wall. So you can go for that too. So play with that, and don't get frustrated if you can't get it right away. Again, this practice is all about progress. So think about where you are now compared to maybe before you had done any of these videos. And it's one you can come back to, and it's one you can practice and drive your whole family crazy because you keep falling down and getting back up and falling down, and eventually it gets easier. So that's what this is all about. So when you're ready, we'll meet in an easy seat, bringing the thumbs to the heart center. The eternal optimist in me honors the light in all of you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. And keep striving for progress, but not perfection. Namaste.